Hi, good afternoon. This is Amanda Murphy with Equine Nutrition, Rutgers 2021, and this is the video on pasture management. So we're going to start with our sward height test, and we're going to use, I just have a general ruler, and we're going to measure the height of the grass to determine if this area of the pasture is suitable to let the horses start grazing on. So ideally for them to be grazing it, we would like an average height of between 6 to 8 inches. So we're going to start over here by the fence. I have my ruler on inches. So starting here, we're at 3 inches. So I'm just going to make a mark on my notebook here under 3 inches. And then we'll go here. So this one's at 6. I'll step over here. This is 4. And I'm just going to keep going for the sake of time. Go over here. Try to zigzag a little bit. 2. Again, 2. And I'm going to pause there while I take the rest of these measurements. So as we can see, with 50 grass height measurements in this section of the pasture, the highest number of measurements is between 2 and 3 inches. We're starting to get some increase into 4-inch range. However, between the optimum range of 6 and 8 inches, we're definitely falling short here. So this section of pasture would not be perfectly suitable to grazing yet. So we would, if we implemented a rotational grazing here, we wouldn't be allowing them to graze this section quite yet. Are we on? Okay. So now we're going to go on to the average of what part of the pasture is grass, what part is, if there's a percentage of bare field or weeds or other. So for that we have our landscaping flag, and we're going to go at, as was demonstrated, at by placing the flag in the ground at about a 45-degree angle, and note what it's touching, whether it's grass, a bare spot, or weeds. And we're going to stick to this section of the pasture over here, and we'll be walking it in kind of a zigzag pattern for approximately 25 measurements. So we'll start right here. And we are touching grass. So for the sake of expediency, I'm going to take several, and I'll write it down every few measurements. So. And I have a weed. And a bare spot. I have some clover. Again, we have clover again. That would be grass. have a bare spot. I have grass. I have grass again. Grass. Grass again. I have a bare spot. Now, for again the sake of expediency, I'm going to pause here while I tally the rest. Okay, so for question 2, the percentages of different contents of the pasture, grass and clover came in at about 64%. Weeds were at 22%. Other, which turns out I hit manure a few times, came in around 10%, and bare spots were approximately 14. I think I did miscount in some of my, in the number of measurements I did, so I'm not sure where my math went wrong, but this is pretty close to accurate, I believe. So that is for part 2, and on to part 3 for identifying some of the plants in the pasture. Alright, so my first pasture find that I identified, I believe I did bring this up in last week's discussion. When I searched for this online, this is a Canadian Thistle. It's invasive and it's pretty rough. I'm not even going to pull it out, but it's actually got thorns on it, and is actually pretty prickly. Alright, so here I found what when we searched NAP, it looks like a wild onion grass. It's kind of a hollow stem from the base. It kind of comes apart, but then it's together at the bottom here. And it actually has a smell and a little bit of a taste of onion. So, and lastly, for our third pasture find, this looks like the beginning of a narrow leaf plantain, similar from in our video discussion from this week. So overall, looking at our pasture, I apologize for the blur of light because I'm losing daylight at this point. I would say, again, if we did implement a rotational grazing here, we would hold off putting the horses out right away, and give the grass a little more time to come into that 6 to 8 inch growth. But based on this section of pasture, I would not recommend replanting or any type of management at this time, and just continuing to let it grow in.